Hello, John Emmett. Hello, Carlos Aviz from Brasilia, down in South America, and Brazil to be specific. Greetings from the East Coast. Where's the water lapping sound? It's there.
It's there.
Peter Taylor in New York with Jane, presumably. Christopher Gillingham with his wife, Jane, as well. Or Sandy and is Peter Taylor's wife, and Jane in Leamington. Welcome. Get this one off the dock. Yeah, we're back in the saddle again here at Studio B at the Beach Street Yacht Club after a week down in Newport Beach. Welcome to my co-host and actually the star of the show today. We're going to
Good
get
grief.
the life and times of Commodore Julia Wedekind here at the Beach Street Yacht Club and a member of the St. Francis Yacht Club and a longtime racer chaser and cruiser. Welcome everybody to show number 541. Sorry we were a minute or so late. We were being sure that after putting the studio back together, after taking some of the equipment down to Newport Beach, it does sometimes get a little bit. I had it together Sunday,
Yeah.
so to speak.
You said you did.
It was okay.
Yeah.
And then just as we were going there, we had no audio going into the system, into the OBS, but we fixed that. Thank goodness. Welcome, everybody. Do you know what day it was yesterday? Here's your first and only clue.
Cowbell Day.
Thank you, Ed Worley. He says we're worth waiting for. Oh, where is that, Julia? Come on.
Oh, it's Switzerland.
Of course. So yesterday was Swiss National Day, August 1st.
Oh, look at that. That's a neat.
It is. It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Vista. The founding of the Swiss Confederation in 1291 on this day, yesterday, that is the August the 1st. A quick note on this important day from the Swiss history books, the important yachting nation that it is, and it is, seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Since 1891, the 1st of August has been celebrated as Swiss National Day. The date refers to an historic alliance concluded in 1291 by the three cantons. I don't know how to pronounce them. I guess Uri, Schweiz, and Unterwalden.
Right.
Hope that's close.
Sounds good.
This alliance was to become the focal point around which the Switzerland of today was built over the next 500 years. Men from these cantons, these three cantons, quote, at the beginning of the month of August 1291, swore eternal allegiance to one another, promising mutual help and assistance. The Allianz is the German pronunciation of that word. It's an insurance company.
Yeah.
The alliance was mainly formed against the Habsburgs, who were striving to strengthen their position in the strategic region leading to the Gotthard Pass at the time. So August 1st is some more cowbells for you, is celebrated exclusively, I love this, within the communities. It's the famously federalist Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
A radio or television broadcast by the president of the Swiss Confederation is the only exception to this esteemed federal principle. Communal celebrations comprise solemn words spoken by a prominent public figure from political or cultural life, accompanied by a concert or choir, gymnastics presentations, and the community singing the national anthem. Now, you see Denise Peterson is on here saying, I am a big fan of cowbells. And she doesn't know that my next image here is none other than Denise Peterson.
With cowbells.
With a cowbell in hand. She was cheering on Jeffrey Peterson down at the Gov Cup with her cowbell.
Yeah.
And I didn't know whether to call her Cowbell Mom or what, so I just Gov Cup cowbells. Fozy Denise Peterson, been on the show a couple times down in Newport Beach, as I said. Julie, it sounded a little bit like a lingy down there, because then John Sangmeister, on whose boat she was from which she was watching the races, and a few others had cowbells in hand, cheering for Jeffrey on the final day, maybe even the second to final day down there at Gov Cup. Denise, welcome. And welcome to all of you. Ted Ryman, hi from Cape Town. Fritz Mueller in Miami. James Frederick Bland, howdy from Austin. Swiss bells were invented, Stingray is asking. Oh, Stingray. Now, that was the first day of August, Swiss National Day, and hope everybody who celebrates it are fans of Switzerland, as am I, had a great day. Now, Julie, you know something else about Switzerland. There's hardly any gun violence whatsoever.
And every house has a gun.
And there's hardly any crime.
Yes.
Because by law, every house has to have a gun.
Exactly.
It's their national defense force.
And they get national training.
Exactly.
Every day, every week, or every year.
And you wouldn't break into anybody's house.
No.
There's no crime in of all these countries, and they say we gotta have more restrictions on guns. Well, maybe we require everybody in the U.S. to have a gun in their house.
Yes.
I don't know. Let's not get into the politics of that. Show number 541 for today, Tuesday, the 2nd of August. Welcome again. Joe Holtzman on from Estes, Colorado. Christopher Beckwith. Yeah, long time, Christopher. Nice to have you back with us as well. Let's get to the starting line because we have a nice report again today from John Emmett. We got a lot on in this show, by the way. Not just Julia, her life and times. But let's get to Emmett, our Master Mentor segment with John Emmett and his report today from Weymouth.
Hi Tom, Julia and all the Fozy. I'm here at the Weymouth and Portland National Sailing Academy once again at the RS Games. This is Big Tuesday, so the reason I'm filming now at the beginning of the day, just in case I don't survive. Got a good beating from the RS7 yesterday, a lot of fun, but it reminded me the reason that I sail an Ilka 6, not an Ilka 7, and therefore perhaps an Aero 6 would have been more sensible, but I was keen to race with the bigger fleet. I'm nicely taped up. The Fozy said they could handle a little bit of John Belly in the morning, but I am literally held together with tape at the moment, just about to put a wetsuit on. I'm also feeling even more of a dwarf than normal compared to the fleet, so I definitely need to put my hiking legs on. Hopefully I'll join you for the show, but you never know, I might be still swimming after an Aero. Issue is we're going to be racing in a strong westerly breeze, so for those people who don't know, that is offshore from the academy, so if I can't sail upwind, I'm never going to get back. Probably you can see from the background a large number of people are also already in their wetsuits, so I think I probably need to go and do the same. So bye for now. Hopefully this won't be the last time, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, Julia, you thought
Nice.
that was pretty funny. You were
Yeah,
laughing
no, he was.
throughout that segment.
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
Okay.
So this is a picture of John that he sent after he
Oh.
submitted that video. Not only is he maybe
Beat up.
cruising for Gillette here for a Gillette sponsorship, but look at his nose.
Yeah.
And he says that the photo after he sent that video, the main halyard fairlead broke halfway through race 1 today. The rig went light, and I looked up just in time for it to smash me in the face. I assume he means the boom.
Ah.
As always, quite a lot of blood, but I wasn't that good looking before anyway.
Oh, poor John.
Poor John.
Oh.
And hope he's feeling fine. I guess
He doesn't have black eyes yet.
he's on the show, so we see him here.
Yeah.
And that, of course, that segment by, as usual, from John Emmett. Sailing Today, it's brought to you by Calvin Klein.
Ooh, good.
Because as you saw, John was showing off not only his taped ribs or the lower back, but
Yeah.
his Calvin Klein boxer brief. So I thought we should have this brought to you by Calvin. Nothing, John says, comes between me and my Calvins.
How nice.
Do you remember that commercial?
Yes, I do.
Who was it? 1980. It was hugely controversial at the time.
Sports for your.
It was an Abaddon. No, it was an actress.
Oh.
It was an Abaddon photo shoot.
Oh.
Well, you know, as usual, we have that for you. First of all, I'm going to give you a close-up look of John. Fritz Mueller's got it. Mueller. There it is.
Oh,
Brooke
yeah.
Shields.
Oh, look at that.
Brooke, David Richard Morse has it. They've got it. They knew right away, as did Denise Peterson. And how old was she then?
16 or something.
15.
Woo.
1980. And she had just starred in that movie, that steamy movie called Blue Lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
Blue Lagoon, I can't remember who the young guy was that played opposite her, but he was a sailor. I ran into him in Bermuda. a year or two after they filmed that movie, and he was quite a good sailor from, I guess, Long Island Sound. I can't remember, Southern Connecticut.
Yeah.
Not legal, David Richard Morris is saying. No, it was 15 years old, and that's why it was so Yeah, Christopher Atkins. Thank you, everybody. Peter Taylor, Clayton Embley reminding us that it was Christopher Atkins, who I haven't seen in a long time, but he is a sailor, Julia.
Is he? I don't remember him.
And it was a steamy movie, The Blue Lagoon, if I remember well.
Yeah.
Good dude. Clayton Embley seems to know him. And he was very personal and charming and just kind of sitting around the pool with the rest of us. I don't remember now if it was in the Bahamas or if it was in Bermuda, one or the other. Yeah. And he was there. You were saying?
No, I was just commenting on you. That's
Jodie's sister. Jodie Foster? I don't think so. At last I found the SI link I was watching on Tom's Facebook page. Yeah, we're streaming this on my personal page, as well as the Sailing Illustrated page, as well as our YouTube channel.
Actually,
YouTube channel.
I watched YouTube for a while during the Gov Cup, and it was good.
Yeah, there's less compression on YouTube. The YouTube algo, as I hear them calling it now, the algorithm.
Yeah.
They don't suppress it. The sound and video is not compressed as much as it is on Facebook.
But you don't get to kibitz.
Well, that's what everybody says. Everybody's saying, why do we separate? Well, you can do what you want, but some people don't like Facebook. Some people want to watch it on YouTube. We want to attract more people because YouTube is, as you all know, owned by Google. It's the second largest search engine in the world after Google itself. So that's why we also stream it. Sailed of the edge. Off the edge. Told him it was flat. Jody Shields. Yeah, no, Jody Shields. No, that's Shields without a D. Jody Shields, and that was Brooke Shields with a D. And apparently her mother was really something, piece of work. But
really? Yeah. I haven't heard about that.
Oh, yeah, her mother was a real piece of work. She was a typical kind of Little League mom, Hollywood mom. Jody looks just like her. That's the thing to say. Really? Jody looks like her? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, enough of all that. Brooke Shields, 15 years old, 1980. And that, all that, you talk about a digression, but they had a sailing connection with young Mr., what was the guy's name? Christopher Atkins. So at least it had a sailing connection with my digression.
Oh, it's...
We had another FOSI. I kind of like this FOSI check-ins. This is another FOSI check-in.
Yeah.
I heard from a couple days ago. This is Hugo Stenbeck from Sweden, whom I've known since the early 2000s. Stenbeck, and he sent this picture and he said, Stenbeck and Linger, that's Lars Linger, doing our 5-year check-in. They sort of check in with me every 5 years and say hi. And they're on the Malmö Bridge, that famously long bridge tunnel that goes from Sweden over to Denmark, and talking about the good, I think plan means old, the good old days. And Hugo on the left, Lars Linger on the right, two famously good Swedish sailors. And Hugo was the youngest head of an America's Cup syndicate, as far as I'm aware, ever. In the 2003 syndicate, America's Cup down in Auckland.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you a little bit more. You see the hat that he's wearing called Sophie? You can kind of make it out. That's Sophie. Well, his dad started with his late great father,
that nice?
And that's a boat it's a 91-footer, so it's a little bit longer than the typical J-boat, but it was a design after the J-boats of the 30s. It's a 1991 Bruce King design that his dad commissioned. And let me tell you a little bit about the family. The original Sophie was this 91-foot sloop built by Hugo's father, and it was built in Maine. In the USA, it had a hydraulic lifting keel with a bulb so it could be sailed in the more shallow waters of the Caribbean and the Med in the summer months. In more recent years, its time has been spent enjoying the west coast of the U.S. and Newport, Rhode Island. Now, Sophie 2 was built in 1994, was a 6-meter, your favorite class, Julia, and raced for a few years under Hugo's father's supervision before it was stored for many years, as he was heavily involved in the America's Cup 02-03, that is his dad, in New Zealand. However, after Hugo's father sadly passed away, it was, I think, from memory, in August of 2002, just before the trial started, Sophie, too, was given a second lease of life and restored to her former glory to win the 6-meter worlds in Newport 2009. A very proud moment for Hugo and the Stenbeck family. So on now to Sophie 3. Hugo, the current kind of patron of the family. Hugo, realizing that the International Dragon Circuit offers the best one-design racing all over the world. This came from the Dragon class, obviously. Had no hesitation in asking Petticrows to build the latest of the Stenbeck Sophie fleet. Welcome to the Dragon class and good luck. So that's Hugo Stenbeck, I doubt he's watching, but he might be. He does sometimes. He's told me that he enjoys the show. This is one of the two Swedish boats from 02, 03. They built Orn, O-R-N, and Orm or something, the two names that were very similar. And Hugo signed up Red Bull, or his dad did, and the two of them did. And this syndicate was called Victory Challenge. It wasn't the first Swedish America's Cup team. You'll remember they had a team way back in 77. But it was the Swedish yacht racing team that competed in 03 and 07. The team was initiated in 99 by Jan Stenbeck, Hugo's dad, and after his death in August of 2002, his son Hugo Stenbeck took over. They also participated in the LV Cup 07, the Challenger Selection Series held prior to the 07 America's Cup. It was sponsored primarily, as you saw, by Red Bull. And I actually dug up a video of Hugo, who was then, this is from a couple of years ago, he was kicking the tires thinking about doing the SSL Gold Cup, the Star Sailors League event, and he's being interviewed here by Fritzoff Clean. Enjoy.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, back to Star Talk. First time ever. I have the honor. 2019. Also, I was very busy with my own sailing career. But I welcome here a legendary sailor. He won the 6-meter worlds. He won the Europeans in the 6-meter. He is a Dragon Gold Cup champion. And also, and that's the first time ever that that I'm able to speak, a 2 times America's Cup team owner. So I'm a bit nervous here. So Hugo, what brings you here to the Star Sailors League Training Center in Riva del Garda?
No, Riva del Garda is central here in Europe. We have a group from Germany, we have some Italians, we have a couple Swedes, Portuguese, and those coming from Switzerland. Here to Central Europe, we've had 3 days of ideal conditions with Diego Negri helming one boat and my team of Sophie racing on the second boat.
I mean, on your team, you have a very good Volvo Ocean Race expert, Bernardo Freitas, who went to the Olympics in London. And of course, Martin Westerdahl, a very, very good and very experienced crew. So what's your goal this year in this season 2019?
Yeah, like you said, Fritjof, Bernardo was on the Volvo last year, so it's good to have him back. He's grown a lot as a person, you can see on the water. His leadership has increased even more so we're excited to have him back. Martin and I have been waiting for him, and 2019 we'll go to the Gold Cup for sure, and we'd like to see how that goes. So that's in June in Medemblik.
So that means you go for a medal?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, that's what I like. And also, Hugo, you're a passionate ice hockey fan?
Yeah, it gets busy this time of year. Playoffs are soon. We got trade deadlines in Sweden, so it's always very interesting to see how the teams shape up. So I have a big passion for both water sports on frozen water and in the liquid state as well.
Great. So we are very proud to have you guys here, and we hope to see you in a couple of weeks. Actually, I know I see you in a couple of weeks for our training. So enjoy the rest of the season and good luck in Medemblik for the Gold Cup.
Thank you, Fritjof. Enjoy beautiful Garda.
Okay, so that's a Star Sailors League video from 3 years ago now. And yeah, Jody Shields, you did miss Brooke Shields with a D.
Yeah.
And everybody's trying to figure out if she's your sister or
Yes.
a fan of yours.
Yes.
And there's some comments, Julie, you may need to wag your finger at. Something about brassieres, and I don't know what all else. Okay. Hugo Stenbeck, nice to have. I hear from him once every 5 years. But he's won the Dragon Gold Cup. He's won a number of things. And I don't think I went back and looked at the Swedish Star Sailors League team, and I didn't see him. I think the team's actually captained by Freddie Loof, not by Freddie Loof, I think, was the captain of that, not Hugo Stenbeck. So we get back here to the rest of our show. But I again, Fozy comments, and I'm going to start running more of these at the top of the show. Here's another Fozy just came in the last couple of days saying, apologizing for not being able to watch the show because he's so busy with Shakespearean festivals in the beautiful, warm British summer. Now, it's not the gentleman there in the back. It's not the ladies there on the left, but look at here in the front, and only somebody whom we all know has been on the show any number of times have put together a spread like that for a Shakespearean picnic. An English summer, he says. He wrote me, with outdoor Shakespeare and other distractions is continuing to keep me away from the live show. Hope all is well with you and Julie. He sends his regards to all the Fozy, and that, of course, is Andrew Pindar.
Oh, terrific.
Sent that along, and just wishing everybody the best. Now, while we're on Fozy, I should also say that on Tuesday next, because he's tied up in cows right now, is that Mr. Dr. Andrew McIrvin is going to come on and talk about the 3 C's. Cork, where he's been up at the 302nd anniversary of the Royal Cork Yacht Club, cows, and COVID. He's going to tell us his latest thoughts and thinking and insight.
That'll be good.
Because there's a lot going on in Julia. It still seems like half of our friends have just gotten over it, have gotten it for a second time.
Yes.
And so far we haven't.
No. Knock on wood.
Yeah, exactly. And I really don't know why. But that's a week from Tuesday, because Cows Week continues this week, and Mr. Dr. Andrew will be with us then as our special guest. I'm going to start with a Bravo Zulu for this review of the Governor's Cup. It was a hugely successful week on and off the water. Great racing, good fun, hard work by the volunteers, and just a lot of fun at Balboa.
Yeah, they have 250 volunteers working hard on that.
Yeah, it's a little fewer than that, but still a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Christine Gribben, who's the regatta chair, does a wonderful job. And all of her volunteers. It's the signature event for the club. And again, the racing was just fabulous.
Oh, I've never seen racing that good of any variety, I'm sorry to say.
And a lot of the Fozy, Julie, were saying, oh gosh, isn't it great to have some boats, displacing boats in the water, and racing so close, so tight, something we can all relate to and understand. At the 2022 Governor's Cup, the 55th edition of the oldest trophy in international sport, it was won, of course, by Jordan Stevenson of the esteemed Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. There are 2 teams from RNZ, and he and his team were just fantastic. If you didn't see it on my Facebook page, this is the closing sequence. After they crossed the finish line, he raced the penalty and won 3-1 over Jeffrey Peterson. And the tradition at Governor's Cup is to
abandon the boat,
throw yourselves in the water. The bosun team, led by Father Greg Newman and others, is standing right by, and they hop in the boat and rescue it, because this is the tradition. You can see there were a lot. That's Robbie King on the far right from Great Britain, and some others from Australia and New Zealand cheering on, looking happy. You can see there on the left is, I think that's Jimmy. I'm not sure who that is. Jimmy Tyler. You can see Balboa Yacht Club. He was not so amused. He was cheering for Jeffrey. But it was nice that everybody was cheering on both sides, and it was it was just fun. It was a great event.
Oh, it was. I've really never seen such close tactical moves and prolonged ones.
Exactly. And if you were going downwind and you were barely ahead of either Jeffrey or Geordie, the chances of them passing you were almost 100%, because they're so good. Lots of comments coming in. Your coverage was really good. Thank you, Ed Worley. Some nice coverage of Cows Week on Planet Sail. Yes, Gordon, I've got that video. It's a little long to run, but we'll see what we can do in review either on Friday or next Tuesday about Cows Week. Gov Cup was impeccable, especially this year, Peter Taylor is saying. Thank you, Peter. Bill Wingrove, the Gov Cup coverage and commentary was some of the best out there. But I'm not sure we're better than the AC. Kenny Reed's pretty good in that gang. I still.
But the whole coverage is different.
Yeah, it is. We're more. See, our approach is, we think, Andy, myself, and of course we had Matt Whitfield with us. And I'll tell you, Tommy Spithill, who was on the boat with us, was superb, as well as Christoph Killian. And I think our approach is that this is like tennis or golf. And we're going to look at some video from Sail GP in a moment, and they're getting all excited. Excuse me.
Right.
They walk up to the tee. They address the ball. Whack! You hear it, and the camera follows it. You hear the the ooh and ahs of the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's okay if it's really close at the finish, and but it's it's not a shouter. It's not a. And plus, as Stingray is saying, they don't. The AC doesn't have a coach's corner. He was watching some of the press conferences. Julie Aaron saying the racing was so exciting. Clayton Allen Embley, it was real sailing.
Yeah.
Gordon Smith, I just lost his comment here. Stevenson really had another gear and really deserved to win. Yes, Gordon, I think he did. And it was fun covering it. Bill Wingrove really liked Tommy Spithill's commentary. It was really good. And a good eye on what was happening with wind and boat position. Well, that's our point too. Andy and I and Chris Bretschker, who produces the on the water stuff. I do the stuff on shore, but it's a lot easier to do on shore because I can plug into the Ethernet into my computer and go live 1080p 30 frames. Out on the water, it's tough. It's 720p.
It's miraculous. Nobody else does that.
Well, it's difficult because you're sending all that through the cell system. We don't have microwave to shore and a microwave tower and fiber optics. It's too expensive. But long story short, we're sending. I think Chris Bretschker has six channels of cell phone coverage, and it's called bonded cellular. So they're working together, and they're all feeding the bandwidth up through them. And if one craps out, the other ones take over, and yada yada. I don't quite get the whole thing. But it's amazing technology. And the other thing that was good, especially about Tommy Spithill, I mean, not only are we as commentators on the water, but Tommy Spithill in the roving boat is right there. And we don't treat him, well, it's not like a sideline reporter. Well, let's go to Tommy Spithill and see. He is, in fact, we told him, you don't hesitate. We'll pause and not just keep blabbing on. We'll try to take a pause. And if you want to break in, do it.
Yes.
And if you see something, because he's out there and he'll see stuff we don't see, the cameras don't see. If you see something,
say it.
Say it.
Yeah.
And that was the best thing. Short courses was a good thing, too. Kept it close and interesting. Fritz Muller saying, you and the entire team did a yeoman's job. The coverage was truly impressive. Golf is like racing in IACC. Maybe they should stick jetpacks on the golfers, Gareth Evans. It was saying, and it was more technical sailing, not technology sailing. Good point, Clayton.
Well, that's a nice thing. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's really true.
Yeah.
Well, Jeffrey had a good regatta. He led coming out of the double rounds robin by a point over Jordan Stevenson. So they were the early favorites. And then that final series, first to win 3 between the two of them, was everything we'd hoped and expected. And it was just fantastically close racing between two very fine young teams. And we'll see. No more Jordan Stevenson. He's aged out. You can't turn 23 before the end of the regatta. So he, in the meantime, turns 23 before next year. His 2 crew, though, are still eligible. And they may end up steering themselves or crewing for somebody else from New Zealand in next year's event.
Yeah.
One can only hope because they were great guys.
They were.
A lot of fun. And the whole group was so mature, so much fun. So, and you saw if you watched the press conferences or the Monday night meet the teams that Andy conducts, Andy Rose, it was good value, I think, all around. And showcasing our sport, showcasing the young end of our sport, showcasing match racing.
Yes.
Commodore Paul Blank on the right in the club's 100th year, Balboa Yacht Club, with the winning team, Jordan Stevenson there on the left, George Angus in the middle, Mitch Jackson on the right, and Bravo Zulu to them. Runners up, of course, were Jeffrey and co. from their Golden State match racing team, Jeffrey, Max Brennan, and Scott Mays. And they are a truly terrific. They've had a great year. And
they won the Worlds?
They won the Gulf Cup last year.
Yeah.
Before that, they won the Rose Cup, which is the U.S. Youth Match Racing Championship.
Yeah.
Then they won the Gulf Cup last year. Then they won the Worlds 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
The World Youth Match Racing Championship. And now they finished second, almost winning the Gulf Cup.
Within inches.
Within inches. I mean, they could have, if they'd won that race, that race, the final race, turned out to be the final race, then that would have evened the score up at 2-2, and then it would have been
started over again.
one race, winner take all.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Jeffrey and co. Also, this team, they didn't get as much ink, but they really sailed well throughout the whole series. A little slow start, and then won, I think, all their matches on Wednesday, most of them on Thursday. And this, of course, is the San Diego Yacht Club team of Jack Plavin, Christophe Chalmant, Jack Egan, and Kalea Woodward. And most or all of them are sailing at Yale University on their sailing team. And terrific, bright group of kids. Jack is wonderful, low key. He's like Morgan Pinckney from Newport Harbor Yacht Club, just a nice, bright, steady sailor. And then, of course, the other in the runner-ups, the Petit Finale. This, of course, is Marius Vesterland, is still probably my favorite. He's so charming and bright and big eyes and big bright eyes. And Hugo, Ali Aronson, and Marius were fourth, but always in the hunt, and have also sailed very well after taking second to Jeffrey at the Worlds 2 weeks ago in Pornichet, France. Pornichet. So that's pretty much the wrap on the Gov Cup 22. Here's the overall standings. Jordan, Jeffrey, Jack, Marius, as we told you. Cole Tapper, whose brother Finn, older brother Finn, who's also sailed in the Gov Cup as a skipper, with George Richardson, were fifth, and they sailed, quite well, as did Will Sargent from the Cruising Yacht Club. This was the consolation match for fifth and sixth, the two teams from the CYCA. And then seventh, Morgan Pinckney from Newport Harbor Yacht Club, who was third last year and won the U.S. Youth Match Racing Championships. He dropped down a couple notches in the lighter going. I think he likes breezier conditions. Robbie King and his group from Royal Thames, nice group, super bright, cool. That's the kid who's the quantum computing PhD candidate at Caltech. Robbie King from Great Britain, Royal Thames.
Really nice guy.
They're all nice. They're just superb. And Robbie King is, and Robbie, he's sort of shy when he got there, and you saw him on Road to the Gov Cup, sort of shy.
Yeah.
And then after being on the show and after hanging out for a couple of days, he really came out of his, PhD shell a bit, and it was most enjoyable.
Yep.
Marcello Torre is from out in Perth at the Royal Freshwater Bay, Ansgar Jordan, Coronado Yacht Club, his second time at Gov Cup. Robbie McCutcheon, who will be back young and struggled a bit in the early going, learning the boats. And it was interesting, Porter Cavley, who ages out, he's doing a lot of big boat sailing. He's running Challenge 12, one of the 12 meters in the Newport Rhode
I didn't
Island
know
circuit.
that. Yeah,
and he's a very also bright kid. Went to Fordham University in New York City. And Porter, after finishing third last year, ended up on the bottom. So you can just see how tough the competition was. And to his crew's everlasting credit, in a vote by the sailors, they decide which of the other teams should win the sportsmanship award. And for the second year running, Porter Cavley and his team won the sportsmanship award. So bravo Zulu to them, Jake Vickers and Nick Sessions. And they're helpful on shore. They have no, but particularly Porter Cavley, they're helpful. We do this, we do that. How do you do that? And no, all humble and just all helpful.
Yeah, that's such an important award too. And that's recognized by the fellow sailors.
It is recognition by their fellow sailors. And there was a number of parents there too. Porter's parents were there. Jim Cavley, who won the Cup with Dennis in 1987, sailed with them, I think it was for sure 92 and 95, I'm pretty sure. And we were on that team 92, 95. I wasn't with them in 87. I hadn't seen Jim and Lori, his mother. They were both there since way back when. Nice folks. And also three other parents, of course, Denise and Forrest Peterson were there. And there was one other parent, I'll think, Dave Tapper, Cole Tapper's dad, Cole and Finn Tapper's dad. So good event all around. The Gov Cup TV team, we were 16 or so. It goes up and down by a person or two. As Chris Bretschker has to gather up volunteers each day. And people are working, people are sailing, people are mothering and fathering kids. There's Bretschker right there with Andy, and I'm up here in the shadows someplace. I just want to point out Kari Bretschker, Chris's mother, who we call Director of
Craft Services.
Yeah, Craft Services. And she is she feeds us, she keeps us with everything. I mean, even does a little hair and makeup if we need it. And her husband, let me go back here to Cam 4, and her husband, Commodore Peter Bretschker, is a past Commodore there at the club. They own that boat Adios and are just terrific hosts. And that, again, Julia, is why we have the whole kit and caboodle on the water.
Yes.
We're broadcasting from out there. We have the commentary stand. We have the roving boat. We're all connected thanks to the work of Chris Bretschker and others. And that allows us to see what's going on, not just be in the sound booth on shore watching monitors and not really knowing what's going on except what you can see on the monitor. We can look around. We can stand up.
And you have drones.
Well, the drones too, but other telecasts have drones, so that's not, hugely unusual. But
altogether, it's a great combination.
Good package.
Yeah.
And we keep getting asked to do other events, and frankly, we're all too busy, and it's too much work. I know you don't approve. You think we should go off and do those things, but you guys are great. Thanks so much. Thank you. But I've got an ask of all of you. It was a pleasure to meet Marius and Pornichet. Yeah, Gordon Smith. We showed you some pictures from that Gordon took with his sons and Jeffrey and Emile Kiar, who was in Pornichet at the Youth Worlds, and meeting some of these kids. And thank you again, Gordon, for sending those along. It was fun, Gordon's, for myself and family to meet John and Lily in Weymouth. Yes, they met. They then went over to the UK and met John, Emmett, and Lily, so that's good. The Gov Cup showed the human side of our sport, Ed Worley says. Tacking duels, wind shift lead changes, and crew mistakes, and great sportsmanship, which I'm going to show you in a sec. One last example of that. Ansgar Jordan's parents were in attendance. Yes, thank you, Denise. And I know also I spoke with, on the closing night, Morgan Pinckney's parents were from across the bay from Newport Harbor. They live out on the peninsula near the yacht club, Newport Harbor Yacht Club, and it was nice to catch up with them. I haven't seen them in a long, long time. The momentum of AV professionalism, Alex Kent is saying, is exciting. That's a good point, Alex. And to think that 5 years ago, when we started doing this, in fact, when we started doing the Gov Cup, it was putting your iPhone, looking at little white triangles on the horizon.
Right.
Then we stuck a microphone on the iPhone so we could, stick it in somebody's face. In fact, Jeffrey Peterson, way back when he was 14 or 13 or 12, I don't know, was our first kind of cameraman. And then he became our spotter, because the other secret sauce that we have as a TV team is that we have spotters who are superb. Everybody on that Gov Cup team, this Gov Cup TV team, are senior serious racing sailors. And they all know what they're doing, whether it's Commodore, this guy up here, Commodore Andy's boat partner in It's Okay, Tom, I'm having a senior brain fade here, Denise will help me and others, but he drives the boat and puts it in perfect position for anchoring, which is not an easy job, while Pete Bretschker is flying drones. And it's just it's an amazing team. And it's the spotters who are running whiteboards for us that have the list of the matches, what the spinnaker colors are, what the numbers are, what the progress is on each of the matches, and then the matches that are winning and losing. So we have a running commentary on that, because it's a 6-ring circus. You got 6 different, when you got those consolation brackets and everything else. Tom Purcell, I've just finally.
Good. I'm embarrassed I didn't
Staff
remember
Commodore
too.
Tom Purcell there, this gentleman who is just one of the nicest people in the sport. And while I'm at it, Julia, Tom Purcell is the one who recommended tequila and soda as the lowest glycemic drink.
Good for him.
And not only are we drinking, and a lot of the people over at St. Francis Yacht Club, but that whole crowd down there now is drinking as well.
Well, it's a nice Southern California drink. I mean, tequila is Southern California, so they ought to embrace it.
They drink it all over the world.
I know.
Yeah, the momentum is good, and we've come a long way, and great time on the media boat. Christine Gribben, there's another example. She's not only a good sailor, but she is chairman of the committee of the Gov Cup committee, the regatta.
For 20 years?
Well, she's been doing it for, I don't know if she's been chair that whole period, but she's can be chair for life. That's what Andy tells her. But so what? We were a little short on personnel for Gov Cup TV. She came out on the boat the last 2 days and was a spotter. And at Rose Cup, she was a camera operator. So it's good fun. Good stuff. long days. I mean, there's 16-hour days for me in particular, because I'm doing the morning show, but I'm not complaining because it's extremely fulfilling with a great group of people and for a great group of sailors. I took that picture.
Nice picture.
With Jordan and Jeffrey.
Yeah.
On the dock. When we docked in, the media boat had just docked in, and I got off to go in to get set up for the press conference, and those two guys were there with their arms around each other, and I just took that snap.
Great picture.
After this heated series that they'd had, and older, more croutonic guys would be in there pissing and moaning at each other, and upset about
really
the
nice.
umpires or about the race committee making one call or another. Not these two. They got their arms around each other and telling each other how great they sailed and how much fun it was to sail against each other.
Yes.
That's what our sport's about. That's what these kids are about. Bravo Zulu to them. Aha, tequila and soda is fantastic. On our drinking show of the sailing habit.
I know.
Mezcal and soda. Okay, that's it for the Gov Cup. I just, maybe we'll do a little more work on that commentary. But here's what I want. Seriously, of the FOSI, and I don't want to do it now. I thought about doing it live, but we got plenty to cover here on today's show. I'd really like your concerted input, your constructive criticism, pro and con, what you saw in the morning, what you saw in the live coverage in the afternoon on the water, what you saw in the press conferences. By the way, if you want to enjoy a press conference, look at the Friday night press conference that Andy conducted with the two sets of semi-finalist skippers. I'm up there, and I try to get off the stage. I don't want to be on the stage, but Andy says, no, you got to come over here co-host it with me. And but I'm up there, and I'm trying to keep the cameras off me so that I can switch the show and talk to the I'm sending hand signals to the camera guys because we don't have comms. But it all works out. But my point is this: please send your comments to me, email or on Facebook or whatever, or put them now. If in pro or con, good or bad, tell us what the 2 or 3 best things about the coverage were in your opinion, and what the 2 or 3 worst things was about the coverage. Again, morning, noon, and evening on any of the 10 shows over 6 days.
Yes.
Too much, Julia. Too much. I'm too old for this.
It's just right.
But it's good fun. That Balboa Yacht Club crowd, starting with Christine Gribben and right on through, is just wonderful and amazing. Great experience.
And the craft services were pretty good, too.
Craft services are always good, thanks to Kari Retschker. Okay, I've switched the slides. We're moving ahead to you-know-where? The Hoe.
The Hoe.
The Hoe in Plymouth. Great Britain Sail GP in Plymouth took place this past weekend. And here is first a video on the Road to Sail GP Plymouth. And they produced several of these. This is about the fledgling Swiss team who haven't had a real good go yet, but it's a nice video, and I thought you would all appreciate it. Roll tape.
It was a tight event here in Chicago. We had some good mark landing in good position. Unfortunately, the final result is not so good, but the fleet is really competitive. We look forward to improving, in Plymouth. Keep working to learn how to raise the boat, and we are not so far. All the team is really positive with the way we sail the boat, and we want to do better.
Overall, I think it was a positive weekend. We showed some good progress from Bermuda, which is the main thing. And now we still have a lot of work to do, but slowly we're getting there.
Plymouth's going to be our next event. It's a home event for me. I've sailed there a fair bit, so looking forward to getting out in the Plymouth Sound again. Always learning with the Swiss team and improving and making gains. Our learning curve's super steep. We're going to go back and look at all the data and make some gains and come back strong in Plymouth.
Now, Julia, you got to shake your finger at Stingray.
Yes, Stingray has a great finger wag do him. Shame on you.
One more. There we go.
Yeah, shame on you, Stingray.
Are there a lot of hoes in England? Well, he means H-O-E-S. He means those big hills overlooking the harbor. Why that? I'm not sure why that's called the Plymouth Hoe, but
yeah,
that's what it's called. And it's Gordon Smith. Well, it's on the ferry from France to Plymouth. I thought it was time to take my 21-year-old for his first visit to a hoe. He seemed a little disappointed to be standing on a grass lawn next to a statue overlooking Plymouth. Now that was clever.
That was clever.
That was clever. There are ho ho ho. Ted Ryman is saying, okay, well, that got everybody laughing. That nice SailGP video. That was obviously in preview.
Yeah, they do such a good job with those.
Yes, they do. SailGP's videos are getting better. There's no. Sadly, there's no kind of recap of the whole regatta yet, but we're going to show you a couple other videos that they have put out, which are really good. And Daniel Gruen is very, very strongly supportive of Sir Ben Ainslie and his team, says Craig Mitchell, that thief, stole a point from the Brits. Well, we're going to talk about that in a sec, and I'm going to run that as the correct or crotonic segment and that whole controversy around that penalty call. But suffice to say, these were the three teams, including Denmark, that got into the final three-boat race. Australia, of course, Tommy Slingsby, Pete Burling on New Zealand, and the Danes, Sehested, Nikolai Sehested. So bravo Zulu to them. The ultimate winner, as you all know, I suppose by now, to the surprise of a lot of people, was Pete Burling. And this is the first time, not only I think that the team's been in the final three, but certainly the first time they were they won. So not only the podium, but also winning. Now, apropos that controversial call, let's go to the video. But first, I'll play my corrector, Crotonic. Since Jody's on here, I had to play his segment. And Gordon Smith saying, yeah, Denmark really had a good regatta. And Ed Worley, yep, SailGP does have a quality video production. And Gareth, thank you, Gareth Evans. A hoe, or hoe with two O's, is an old, with an E, O-L-D-E, English word for a raised, elongated piece of land.
That's nice to know.
Something we might call a, well, I don't know. Do we have a similar word in English? You went to Stanford. You should know these things.
A peninsula of hills.
Like Point Loma.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you would call the Newport Peninsula down Newport Beach because it's flat as a pancake.
Yeah.
But Point Loma it's way up high. But it's a great natural place to, I've said before, we had some IACC, an IACC regatta there. It was a terrific spot. But let's go on to what this call, whether it was correct or crotonic. Now here, the two teams involved, it was Great Britain, of course, the hometown favorites in Plymouth in the UK, and Team New Zealand, Pete Burling's team, struggling to rise up the standings, the leaderboard. And this from SailGP on their excellent website, by the way. Ben Ainslie has dismissed the last-minute dramatic penalty handed to Great Britain, which cut the home team out of the final as, quote, a bad call. The Brits were just 200 meters from the finish line and ahead of Tom Slingsby's Australia when they were handed the devastating penalty, which forced them to cross the line behind the Aussies. They had to slow down and wait for the Aussies to get ahead of them, which is what that penalty is in SailGP. The decision, administered by Chief Umpire Craig Mitchell, meant Great Britain missed out on a place in the finale, the final three boats, which was handed to Nikolai Sehested of Denmark instead. Now here is the video of the incident, and you be the judge.
One last time, he needs to cross clear ahead of the Australians to hope to make the final. It's tight, it's really, really tight. And Great Britain just gets past.
This is the umpire's penalty GBR.
Oh, he's got to drop behind. Oh, he's got to drop behind.
So the comments are already flowing in. Daniel Gruen, who is as I said, he's a German living in Augsburg in Germany. That decision was an absolute insult. Jody, on the other hand, says it was absolutely correct call. GBR were on port, and the Aussies had to change course to avoid contact. Remember something, this goes, we'll get into that in a sec, that the umpires use that every team knows about. It was introduced to avoid collisions at high speed. GBR should have taken the stern of the Aussies, plane, I think he means simple, port, and starboard. Stingray, if Ben had not blown so many starts on day one, Saturday, that incident might not have mattered. Gordon Smith, I can't see how the umps could have made any other call. Gareth Evans, I didn't like the decision, but it was the correct call. So, Daniel Grun, I'm afraid you're the only one. Julie, you want to weigh in on that?
Nope.
Okay. Here now, I'm going to break it down for you and then tell you what I think as an old umpire. John Emmett is saying, have a look at the Japan cross. Yeah, okay. True. But have a look now as I break it down for you. Here, first of all, these are screen grabs from that video. You see the speed difference?
Yep.
10 kilometers per hour, which is what? 6 knot difference? What is that in knots? Somebody do the math. I should have done that.
Yes.
6. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And Ted Ryman's saying it's a Crutonic call. So he's agreeing with our friend in Augsburg, Daniel Grun. So there's the first shot. First of all, see that Tommy Slingsby and co., the Australian boat, is coming on starboard tack. They're going downwind, of course. You can see the wind arrows. See the wind arrows here.
Yep.
So the wind's blowing like this. They're on port tack. They're coming across on starboard tack, and there's fully 11 kilometers per hour speed difference. Even the very GBR biased comms team thought it was close. Jody Shields is saying, well, they thought they'd gotten across. They were saying, oh, they got across just.
Yeah, I did too when I looked at it.
Now here is a screen grab from after the incident, and notice the trail of Tommy Slingsby of the Australian boat. Look at the change in course. That's not just a Hollywood change. They're coming like this. Now they may have dialed them down a little bit to make it look even closer, but then they really had to flick, and I think they had to flick every bit that much, as you can see on their wake coming in. And then I'll show you one more that I think is devastating evidence in favor of Slingsby. Now you see what I'm talking about there? Look at this. Look at all the water, the spray coming off the port, daggerfoil, and the port rudder. And you can see the angle of the rudder. It's turned. I mean, he's turned a lot. And because of that, all that spray is because there's a lot of load on these foils as he's turning the boat this way to avoid the back end of the Brits, or so I would assert. And I'm going to show you the video one more time.
One last time, he needs to cross clear ahead of the Australians to hope to make the final. It's tight, it's really, really tight.
And Great Britain just gets past. This is the umpire's penalty GBR.
Oh, he's got to drop behind. Oh, he's got to drop behind.
Yeah, now, look, that was too close, first of all. And I think had Tommy held his course, he would have T-boned, maybe not T-boned, he would have chopped off the stern of that boat, of Sir Ben's boat. And moreover, sadly, the television cut from the overhead shot to the onboard shot because they don't know what they're doing, frankly.
Yeah.
Just at the moment you wanted to see the overhead shot to see how close they were going to pass astern of the other boat or not, and whether his course was changing and whether he had to change. So they once you take to the onboard shot, you lose all that overhead perspective, and you've got the foreshortening of the lens effect and yada yada. So it looked almost like, I'm going to play it one more time. It looked almost like on the water, it almost looked like they went to it to disguise the fact that it was so close. Because if you looked at it from the overhead, I'm sure it was. Let's have one more look.
One last time. He
look
needs
at how
to cross clear.
it doesn't look. I mean, it looks like no way he's even going to cross him.
It's
Right.
really, really tight.
Especially when they're coming at 10 knots, 10 kilometers per hour faster. That shot, though, disguises. See all the spray coming off. And they just cut it exactly the wrong time. Show that in replay, but keep the overhead shot, you croutons.
Oh, he's got to drop behind.
But to their everlasting credit, they did produce this video. They stuck it up and put the back and forth. So it's interesting, and you've got a controversial call. But let's see what the other comments are. This would be when, John Emmett is saying when overhead shots come into their own. Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
You can see the turn in the wake, Bill Wingrove says. Exactly right.
Mm-hmm.
At the speeds, Wingrove's also saying at the speeds the foilers are going, you have to allow more room for clearance, not quite the same as sunfish going 3 to 4 knots in boats that are really robust. That's true, too.
Right.
It looked even closer from the cliff just above that. Gareth Evans must have been there up on the hoe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure GBR had the ley line, even if he'd gotten past cleanly. Well, but why wouldn't you go past, take his stern, take his stern, and then go over and then jibe back and have starboard advantage?
Yeah.
So I don't know. At least they should have not done that. That was Croutonic. My never so humble opinion. Most of you agree. Alistair Murray, correct, but had to watch it a few. Yes, fair enough. Daniel Groen is disagreeing. Tom Eamon, we need a protection zone. Umpire system we had in Auckland with the Diamonds. Yeah, okay. The ghost boat thing may not be, Daniel may not be completely correct. I understand. Alex Kent, I was racing on an unnamed trimaran and our driver drove over the back of another tri, barely swapped paint going really fast. Good thing no crew was on that receiving boat. Too easy to do. Fog machine, I agree, saw them. Have to alter course. The umpires that aren't on site there, they're at the TV studio. They're remote, saw it all. So I think most of you agree that it was the correct call. Julia.
I have a question about ghost boats. It's been mentioned 5 times in the last couple of days, and I don't know what that is.
The umpires on their electronic system now have a projection of 2 or 3 boat lengths where the boats will end up. They've got that on another screen, had nobody altered course.
Yeah.
So it's kind of peering into the future,
yep,
technologically speaking, ghost boats. And, all the sailors know that the umpires have this tool.
And they're the only ones that do.
And they're the only ones that do. The sailors don't have it. But it's a good question, and there's some controversy over whether or not it's the right way to proceed or not. But that's what they have, and I think it's just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Stingray, GBR was hoping like hell to make the mark, with Oz still having to make a turn. If GBR were below the lane line, and it looks like they were, then GBR had 2 more turns, 2 more jibes to go, and might as well have ducked and said, yes, agreed completely, Stingray. Daniel Groen, Julia Wedekind, that host boat system is flawed big time. Ghosting is trying to predict the future, Ted Ryman is saying.
Yes.
Yep, 4 seconds before the incident, the Oz ghost boat was overlapping the stern of GBR by about 4 meters. Yeah. Clark Chapin, sorry I came in late, just back from the U of M hospital, which plans on discharging my wife tomorrow. What great news, Clark.
That's good news.
Happy to hear that. I didn't put anything at the top of the show, hoping to hear from Clark live on here. So, okay, so that's, I think we've beaten that one to death. But from the hoe, again, what a great vantage point. And I think, sad to say, I think Sir Ben I think, frankly, he just said, look, I got to go for it. If I don't cross here and if I take a penalty, that's okay. If I duck, I'm going to probably come out behind, big picture long term, meaning coming into the finish, and I'm not going to get to the final 3 anyway, so I might as well go for it and cop a penalty if that's what happens. So I think probably Ben was right to do what he did, frankly, but I don't think the umpire call was bad, let alone wrong. Can I say it again? All the teams know the rules that are being used in Sail GP. Jody's saying they need to sail accordingly to these rules. They are not amateurs on these things. If it wasn't GBR copying the penalty, I don't think it would be as big of a deal. Clark again talking about his wife Karen, who got a tragic car accident on July 4th. She'll be discharged to a rehab center, but 1 step closer to home. Good, Clark. Great news.
She's made remarkable progress.
she has, and it's not, you know, Clark just, no, I talked to him, and it's not been all
Positive.
yeah, well, it's been positive, but it's not been easy by any means.
Oh gosh, no.
I'd like to see the overhead footage. It must be somewhere. I'll see if I can get that. I'll call Russell up. Very happy for you, Clark. Alistair's saying. Daniel Gruen, let's don't belabor that point anymore. Finally, the results. Bravo Zulu to Peter Burling and co. for winning. Their first time on the podium.
I was going to say it's the first time, huh?
First time on the podium. Certainly their first win. Well, their first win as well. Tom Slingsby extending his lead over the fleet in the overall standings with a second. Denmark, Nikolai Sehested. Good team. They're going to be good. Their next event is in their home waters. Then Sir Ben, then Quentin Delapierre, then Phil Robertson sailing now for Canada had a disappointing regatta. Not as good as their earlier ones. And Jimmy Spithill, amazingly. And the first day, I was getting texts from several of our FOSI, several of you on here. Hey, are you watching this, or did you watch this?
Yeah.
Because it's, and Jimmy had a disappointing regatta, finishing 7th. And then Sebastian Schneider for Switzerland 8th, and Spain, which is Jordi Zammer, struggling. And now that Phil Robertson, who was with them last year, as you know, has moved to Canada. The Canadian team, the journeyman that he is. So here's the overall season championship results after 3 events. Slingsby on top, Australia with 29 points, then the Brits, then the Kiwis, and Canada, Denmark, France, the U.S. in 7th place, Spain and Switzerland. No surprise, down at the bottom of the heap. And a lot of you are thinking that Jimmy needs, I've heard from several, I'm just going to tell you what you're telling. I'm not taking a position in this because I don't know. But that they need Taylor Canfield on the boat as the, you know, flying the boat as the
backup.
As the pilot to
as a pilot
to govern the ride height.
Yeah.
Say that a few times because they are struggling. It looks like in their consistent ride height and we'll see. But that's what several of you think, not me. Now there was a celebrity there, major celebrity, especially for the UK. Let's go to the tape.
The Duchess of Cambridge, patron of the 1851 Trust, on site here, taking in the action of Sail GP. Doing a fantastic job. Now, she met the Great Britain Sail GP team and joined a group of children taking part in the Protect Our Future sustainability program before heading out on the water with Sir Ben Ainslie. Always keen to chat with the kids and find out what they're doing and how they're doing, and she showed a real interest. Now, everyone knows that the Duchess of Cambridge is quite a keen sailor in her own right, and so she made herself right at home here with not only the kids, but the sailors. And she is a quick study out on the water, as Sir Ben Ainslie will tell you. She got kitted up, she was ready to go, and then it was a transport out on the water. And then it was all on as the Commonwealth race against New Zealand took center stage here at the Plymouth Sound.
Great Britain towards the bottom end of the line, but they should have a faster angle. Let's watch for the light to turn white, and the start's clear. It's a clear start in the Commonwealth race. Here we go. Great start by Great Britain. They turn the boat 56 kilometres an hour, and it's now a drag race from here towards mark number 1, the turning mark. On the helm, the Duchess of Cambridge. Wing trimmery and Jensen. Communication already good. Sir Ben Ainslie trying to feed the information on this gusty breeze out here on Plymouth Sound. Mark 1 straight in front of us.
And against the Duchess of Cambridge, we have Lewis Pugh, UN, patron of the oceans.
So they're coming in hot here at the first mark, and this will be tricky.
For the manoeuvre, spins the boat. Look at the G-forces there on the crew. Can they stay on the foils? Watching the boat here on the foil. Now the time to cross the boat. Technical footwork required. Lovely tack from the British team, and now looks like a few metres in the lead. They're well set up now. Speed building slowly on both boats. New Zealand have fallen off the foils. It's going to be hard for them from here. Duchess of Cambridge back on the wheel, and it's a sprint.
Duchess of Cambridge taking direction from Sir Ben Ainslie as they stretch their lead now over 100 meters over the Kiwis here in the Commonwealth race.
Ben Ainslie there, we're in good shape. That's what everyone wants to hear. Tactician in this moment, Ben Ainslie. Lovely tactician to have next to you. 4-time Olympic gold medalist.
Perfect conditions, perfect racing, and the Commonwealth race will go the way of Great Britain. Checkmate as the Brits take the win over the Kiwis. So as the Duchess of Cambridge and the rest of the team receive their trophy given by Sir Russell Coutts, the CEO of Sail GP, and the Commonwealth race goes the way of Great Britain.
Okay, can only be good for the sport,
Nice.
right?
Yes.
Huh?
No, it's terrific. Yeah.
Nice stuff, and the comments are funny too. There's one last one on the. I'm going to read Jody's last comment. Replying to Daniel Gruner, Daniel, yet he decided to go. Sir Ben decided to go the high risk option, then blew up when he got pinged. Yeah, okay. The only coverage Gordon Smith says of the event, the BBC gave the event, was about the HRH. Yeah, okay. The Kiwis gave a very respectful second place. Yeah, but I think the guy who was steering that boat was not the. He was also another, shall we say, non-professional sailor. It was somebody with the UN head of the oceans or something. I heard her say it.
I don't know.
And then Stingray's nice legs. I thought Duchess Kate had a younger royal sister named Edith, but when I looked it up, I was completely wrong. Turns out you can't have your cake, Kate, and Edith too. Shake your finger at him. It's clean, but that is so sad. Groner, what a groner, Stingray.
Groner.
Gordon Smith thought it was funny. Yeah, I Pedro Filing Sailor. Hi, Peter. I hope you fully recovered from your. I don't know what that was all about. Commonwealth race, no Australian boat. Does that mean the Aussies are now a republic? Well, you guys are working on that. Yeah, Daniel Gruen, she is a pretty accomplished sailor, and it's nice to have somebody in the royal family, the way we had the late, great Prince Philip, and now her as a yachty. Ben was just giving the Duchess a bit of a throw, cutting that close. They might want to put her on the helm from now on. Why wasn't Oz included in the Commonwealth race, or Canada for that matter? Well, Canada, I think, they're part of the Commonwealth. So, Jim Pugh is a long-distance swimmer, and he was on the NZL boat. Okay? It's not Jim Pugh, the yachty. It's Jim Pugh, the long-distance swimmer.
Oh.
Finally, we've got this. This Tommy Slingsby posted this, I guess, on his Facebook or YouTube. I can't remember where I found this, or one of you sent it to me. Thank you. Caption contest. What do you think I'm explaining to the Duchess? Great to meet the Duchess of Cambridge at Sail GP Plymouth this weekend. We are so lucky to have their support. Tommy Slingsby. Anybody care to offer Julia? Care to offer a caption for that photo? I'll back that off.
How high is what?
I don't know what he's saying, but it's nice.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Julia, I'm going to say something that will offend a few people, but probably not very many. Princess Kate, the Duchess of Cambridge, right, you can take her any day. Not only is she a sailor, but then Harry's wife, who's the Canadian-American, what a crouton she is. Sorry. She is a crouton. Living here in California, down near your...
Yes, indeed.
Your former digs. Tell Tom not to stare at her, LOL. I use my left hand. Ted Ryman is funny. Tell Tom not to stare. Yeah, he's not really looking at her, is he? He looks like he's looking off the distance somewhere. Okay, well, you can fill in with comments on that. Tommy Slingsby. And the final event. Okay, there's a good one, Bill Wingrove. I'll go to that comment. Well, American Magic made this offer I could not refuse. I just couldn't refuse. Well said about the ex-princess, Gareth Evans. Thank you, Gareth. I mean, what's her name? Julia, the gal who's the actress.
Merkel. No.
Yeah, Markle. Whatever.
Markle.
She's a crouton. And Harry may be a crouton too. I don't know. Rockwool, Denmark, Sail Grand Prix is the next event in 2.5 weeks' time, 19th and the 20th of August. Meghan Markle. Thank you, Ted Ryman.
Thank you.
In Copenhagen. So we'll look forward to that. I think that was a good event. Congratulations to the winners and the 3 finalists, the 3 podium teams. Okay, the quick America's Cup. Now we're going to get to Julia and her life and times segment. We are going to get to that, Julia.
Oh, it's grand history.
Well, no, it's cool. Everybody's asking. Well, sometime you got to interview Julia. And let's hear about her background. But let's do the America's Cup first, because they have just issued a new video about Barcelona. Have a look. What do you think?
I think their videos are fabulous.
It is. That's a superb video, eh?
Yeah.
Superb video. I couldn't agree more. Congratulations to them, to Barcelona, and to ETNZ and RNZ. That's a great looking video and a great town. I mean, I love that town. There's another video coming in a sec. This from the Brits. Now, this is strange, and I agree with you, Daniel Gruen. I don't know why Jim Ratcliffe is not involved in this. But today, on the 2nd of August, Hannah Mills and Sir Ben, who, of course, with the Sail GP team and the America's Cup team, they launched the Athena Pathway Program. They announced it today at the squadron, the Royal Yacht Squadron, during Cows Week, to race towards a gender-equal sport. So what's that all about, the Athena Pathway? Well, it's led by Hannah. It's a new pathway for female and youth athletes, fast-tracking development in professional sailing on and off the water. So not just sailors, but shore team and management, including into the America's Cup and Sail GP. The pathway will be founded with pillars of, quote, people, planet, and purpose, unquote, to encourage athletes to use their voice in the fight against climate change. Applications are now open to be a part of the program with opportunities on and off the water. And yes, there's a video. Have a look.
Sport has the power to inspire like nothing else. It's an advocate for progress, challenging perceptions and seeing things differently. Our sport is changing. Fast, foiling machines going 3 times the speed of the wind means not just a new generation of boats, but new opportunities. Sailing, a sport that has already achieved gender equality in the Olympic arena. Great Britain is a country that has produced the world's most successful male and female Olympic sailors. A sport that is looking to the future to provide new pathways for women, for youth to compete and work on an equal pitch. Sail GP, changing the face of sailing by combining performance with purpose and having youth and diversity at its core. Alongside sport's oldest international trophy, the America's Cup, constantly evolving in its design and technology, and now equality. The first ever Women's America's Cup will be raced in Barcelona in October 2024. Great Britain have history to make. Alongside the next Youth America's Cup, GBR have a title to retain. Hannah Mills and Ben Ainsley, with 6 Olympic gold medals and an America's Cup win between them, are investing in the future. Building a program to train, mentor, and provide a pathway to work and compete at the highest level. There has never been a better time to invest in the sport we love, to increase participation, skills, equality, and find the stars of the future. The Athena Pathway is ready to take on the challenge. Are you ready to be part of the future?
Okay, that's the video ran out. I'm sorry I cut it off a touch there at the end, but I think it's called Athena Pathway. I can't remember if it's .com or .org, but they're recruiting people now to come into this system that is being backed by Sir Ben and by Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't see anything about, I think the squadron is on the website, so the Royal Yacht Squadron must be involved as well. And I didn't see anything, Julia, about Sir James Ratcliffe.
No.
Ineos is talking about making their youth AC team half female. Stingray is saying, yeah. And there's some people agreeing with you, Julia. Ed Worley saying, I really do not want to listen to sports celebrities talking about politics or politicians. Stick to the sport. And Emmett is saying, John says, replying to Ed, everyone is allowed to have an opinion, and of course it is up to you whether you listen to it or not. And that's how I feel about it. I don't like all this, and I don't, frankly, listen to a lot of people, including politicians sometimes.
Yeah,
I do listen to any number of friends who I think are bright and so on, and we'll all make our decisions. But we'll see. I think the initiative, nonetheless, of recruiting kids and women now into a pathway program, and it's one of the reasons why the Brits are so good in the Olympics.
Right.
I think it's quite good, quite interesting. Alex Kent said, yeah, agreed. It's a little like Hollywood award shows. Yeah. And Grun Daniel saying Ratcliffe is not funding it. I don't know. I'll find out more about it. What else here? There was a comment. Oh, I know. Susan Watson Kenny, if you see way up at the top, we're about to lose her comment off the screen. I'm a little bit late, but hi. I just want to say about Susan, Julie, I don't know if you've met her, but you hear me talk about her all the time. Is another one of these volunteers who is our press secretary for the Gov Cup now for, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, maybe more years.
Yeah.
And Andy drafts and I edit press releases and then choose some photos from our on the water volunteer photographers, Mary Longpreet, Tom Walker, send them over to her and she makes it all happen. She cleans the thing up, captions the photos, uses crew names, bless your heart. Susan Watson Kenny, and I didn't even see her. I didn't see her once during the regatta. She's working at home in the evening and sometimes all evening, every night, doing these press. So, Susan, thank you for joining us. Thank you for all your efforts. We did the Gov Cup segment, up closer to the top of the show. Well, bravo Zulu to this program. I do like the idea of the pathway, politics, and climate change and all this stuff. I'm not quite sure why they need to get into that.
Pathway is open if the people at the top are open. Anything is.
Yeah. Well, somebody's saying you cut out. Well, I don't think so. We're still.
Somebody just said down here.
We still look live to me here, so maybe one of the Facebook or YouTube servers somewhere cut out. But Susan, Kenny, thank you. We still look like we're on the air here, so hopefully we are. We press on regardless. And we'll leave now the America's Cup, and we'll get to this date in history. Then we're going to get to Julia and her life and time, because you've all been asking for that for so long. What happened on this day in history in 2020? Here's your first clue.
Did he offer to buy, or did he buy?
2020.
Yeah.
Elon Musk from the Republic of South Africa, Canada, and the USA. Those three countries. Originally from RSA, down there, Ted Ryman. And what else?
Well,
here's your next clue. On this day in 2020.
Oh. Did he take himself on a ride?
Gordon Smith's got it. The first privateer spaceship landed a rocket back on a barge. Nope, close. Daniel Grun has it. First space launch of SpaceX Crew Dragon. Actually, launch. It was the first splashdown. The rocket went up there, and brought some astronauts back. And when this thing's, it's a water story. You got to go with something. It's a water story. In the Gulf of Mexico, they landed. They splashed down, and all these private boats were out there before the ship to rescue it. He launched. Stingray wants to know if he launched his first wife to Mars. No, I don't think so. So that was on this date in 2020. SpaceX, Elon Musk, one of his several companies. Dragon capsule carrying NASA astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob Behnken splashes down in the Gulf of Mexico, the first commercial crewed mission. So that's, it's kind of significant, don't you think, Julia?
It is.
On this date in history in 2020. Okay, now let's get to what you're all waiting for. This is the life and times of the Commodore of the Beach Street Yacht Club, longtime member of St. Francis Yacht Club, and my co-host, the esteemed Julia Wedekind. Julia, welcome to the show. And here's, well, you want to say anything preliminarily?
Not really. I don't know. I'm very amazed to be in this seat and find it unnecessary, but never mind. I'm here.
For 5 years. So here's the first slide. Tell us about this. This was when we met, actually, 10 years ago? 12 years ago. 10 years ago. This
13.
This is 11 years ago. 9 years ago. I can't do math. 9 years ago.
Yeah.
The 2013 Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's your late great husband, the
Indeed.
famous ship captain, Conrad.
That's correct.
German by birth. And he would be how old now?
8 and 89 is
97.
97.
And wonderful guy. He passed away, what, 4 or 5 years ago now, right?
8.
8? Was it that long ago? My goodness.
Yes.
And what about this next slide? This is, you've done a lot of cruising, a lot of some racing.
Yeah.
But was this your first blue water, first long trip?
No, I wish it had been mine, but I just met.
Oh, you met them?
The Siete on their first LA Tahiti cruise.
That's a race.
Yes.
And that's a St. Francis Yacht Club boat.
That is.
And you went down to meet them. You took this photo?
Yes.
Would you, as you can probably tell, Julie and I did not rehearse this segment.
I know.
I said, I'm not going to show you. I did show her the slides, but we can't rehearse this segment. We don't rehearse anybody else. We're going to go live. This is a live tele.
Yeah.
What was Julia's maiden name?
Hirsch.
Hirsch, like the German word for deer.
Yeah.
Julia Hirsch, Hirsch, Wedekind. So you met them in Tahiti at the end of the
and Bob Hinault and Christy were there too on their way around the 2.5-year way around the world.
St. Francis Yacht Club friends.
Right, and I met them for the first time on their beautiful teak deck, splashing Mai Tais.
As you would.
Yeah.
How about this picture? Who are these guys?
They were part of the crew of Siete.
What's on their head?
A Tahitian crown.
So is that what all? So you get a Mai Tai at the end of the Transpac, and you get a Tahitian crown at the end of the LA Tahiti race?
And a Mai Tai.
And a Mai Tai, as you should.
Yeah.
Okay, and what about this esteemed establishment?
Well, 2 things. First, it was Bill Stewart, which is spelled differently, but Hotel Stewart is a low, old and well-loved establishment of drinking downtown in Papeete.
Nice. Did you do any drinking there?
Of course.
I would hope so. Okay, shall we move? Anything else on that race?
No, not really.
So you were a racer chaser for that one. You weren't on the yacht. You didn't go the whole. That's a long trip.
I'm not a racer at all. You know that.
Well, but you're a cruiser.
I'm a cruiser. Yeah.
Okay, then how about this photo? This is more recent, I guess, right?
You know what? I don't know about that.
Well, I pull photos up. It's like the kids on.
Yeah.
That's not Rangitoto Island. That's not Auckland. That's here. That's Angel Island, looking out from St. Francis Yacht Club, the B buoy, which is now the Billingham, the Buddha buoy.
Mm.
And it looks like you're crossing. Somebody's crossing the finish line. Is that one of your friends' boats?
You know what? I just don't know.
Well, you sent that to me, Julia.
I sent it as a part of 4 that I couldn't take apart.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a nice shot, and you've been. I just want to talk about St. Francis for a minute, because you were the first female member.
One of 3.
One of 3. First, and not as a spousal member. This is before you met Conrad, right?
Yes, I joined the club before he did.
So this was before it was kind of cool to have female members, let alone female Commodores, and it was almost unheard of.
Yes.
At some clubs.
Yeah, several people had rollovers in their.
Rollovers?
Well, they rolled over in their grave.
What, when you became a member?
Yes, and then when I became house committee chairman, that was terrible because the whole boardroom is going to explode with a woman in it.
And you were the first female chairman of the House Committee,
Yeah.
which, there's the race committee and the House Committee, and you can talk about one or two others, but it's a big deal.
It is a big
at
deal.
most of these clubs.
And we did a good job.
Well, that's bravo Zulu to you. Now let's go forward to this cruise. There's Conrad. It looks like you guys are going to a party in the upper left corner there.
Yeah.
What's that?
These are in the same waters, but in very different situations. This is a Halloween party on board the Seaborn Spirit, and we just come from Egypt and on the way through the Suez Canal, and Conrad is Farouk, and I'm in a costume, a local costume.
You're going to a costume party on, what's the name of the ship?
This is the Seaborn Spirit.
Seaborn Spirit.
Yeah.
And what happened? How many days later did this other incident happen?
About 3 or 4 days later. Let's see, on the 5th. So 5 days later.
And what's this?
We were attacked by Somali pirates.
And where were you? You were in
the Indian Ocean, in the middle of nowhere. We were an hour by plane from as if anybody could land. And 3 days by ship from any place.
So you got attacked by these croutons.
Yes.
And one of them looks like he's got a rocket fire. They're like
they're RPGs.
They
had 3 RPGs, and the ship was hit by RPGs 8 times, I think.
8 times?
Mm-hmm.
And what were you all doing on the ship? Were you in your cabins?
Well, one would think so, but the safest place was in the dining room, which was really below water. Yeah, and of course, we were awakened in the middle of the night at 4:30, and Seaborn never makes announcements because it disturbs people.
Well, of course.
And it was, please stay in your cabins and do not look out. We have a little problem ahead, sort of. And of course, everybody ran and looked out.
So then what happened?
Well, the ship we were on made some evasive maneuvers, which rocked that little boat like this, which meant their shots were not very accurate. They couldn't be.
Thank God.
But they did hit the ship quite a few times.
And was the ship? With the ship's crew, were they armed? Did they have some rifles? Did they pull anything out and start shooting at these guys? What happened? How'd you get rid of them?
Not allowed to have arms on board cruise ships at the time. And what we were fortunate to have is one of 2 RPG highly intensive. Now I'm forgetting the name of the name of a device designed by the Navy to chase away people in the Gulf, really.
I wonder what the rules are now. I wonder if these cruise ships and other commercial.
They have them now.
They must have this stuff and be able to blow these guys out of the water if you come after them.
Well, they don't blow them out of the water, but they use the
high pressure water hoses. Gordon Smith is wondering.
Yeah, no.
Sonic cannons.
Yeah, but it's called not RPGs. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, it's concentrated, so they point high velocity sound at you.
Oh, it is sonic cannons. That's what somebody said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Facebook uses now J. Frederick Bland was in the Navy. He's a senior serious Navy guy. He's down in Texas, and he's saying sonic cannons.
Yeah.
So you had one? Sonic cannon? I mean, not you, but the ship?
Yes, it did.
And that get rid of the guys?
Yes. I mean, it didn't totally get rid of them, but it got them away from the ship. We were faster.
You were?
The ship was faster than they were.
There? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, bravo Zulu, you lived to talk about it, and I know you've given several talks over the years at various clubs about your close encounter with Somali pirates.
We just got back from our trip right after Christmas, and there was said, "Oh, help! We need something, a speaker for, January 2nd or whatever it was, right?"
So you threw some slides together and talked at the St. Francis Yacht Club's Wednesday yachting luncheon.
That's right.
Wow, crazy experience. Alex Kent is saying, Julia, we never, and I haven't. That's the first time I've heard the whole accounting of it. You've told me you were interdicted, if that's the word, by Somali pirates. But okay, let's go. You being here 3 blocks from St. Francis at what we now call the Beach Street Yacht Club, you've known and hosted a lot of famous sailors and judges.
Lots.
I mean, they've stayed here.
Yes.
And these are pictures that I had that I pulled up. And does anyone know who that is? Do you remember who that is?
No, I don't.
Do you remember where that is? It's at the Coffee Roastery. Peter Taylor and Sandy and I and Jeffrey Peterson were there when they were here for the Sail GP San Francisco. But that is, he was the youngest head of an America's Cup syndicate, I think, ever. We were talking about.
Is that the Swede?
No, that's not Hugo Stenbeck.
No, I don't know. I don't remember who that is.
He's also won, or he had the world's sailing speed record for a while. He lives here in the marina. He's a member of St. Francis now. Andy Rose was his tactician in 1980 on Clipper. Yeah, that's Russell Long.
Oh, is it?
That is Russell Long. He lives neighbor, and you and I went in there for a coffee one time, and he is just one of many, many people came. Oh, Julia comes over and makes a big fuss about you. It's really tough hanging out with Julia at St. Francis here because she is a minor celebrity and everybody loves her, not only here on the show. It's true. Here's another one.
Oh, yes.
Matt Whitfield. Yeah, yes. John Stingray's saying, is that John? He's saying, is that John Lennon? No, it looks like him a little bit.
Yeah.
But that was way after John Lennon passed.
Yes, yeah. And he's dear. He keeps in touch.
This is Matt Whitfield. He does keep in touch. He was our co-commentator with Andy and myself down there and did a great job as well. And he passed through here and stayed with us for a week after his first Gov Cup experience. He came up here. He wanted to see the Bay Area and stayed with us, and we had a great time with him. It's just one of many, many sailors that have been through here over the years.
A Facebook user has come up to help me. It's a long-range acoustical device, LRAD.
LRAD. Okay, that again is J. Frederick Bland.
Yeah.
That's James Bland. LRAD, designed to deliver warning message over ranges of up to 1 kilometer. Okay, well, that's good. We learn something every time from our very smart group of FOSI. Yes. Alex Kent, asking if that's Tacolicious.
No.
No, that's... Where is that? That's the St. Francis. No, it's not the St. Francis bar.
No.
I think it is Tacolicious. Good eye. It is Tacolicious. That's on Chestnut Street. I don't remember. Oh, I do remember going there. Well, lots of famous sailors have passed through here, Julia. And are you a member of New York Yacht Club? Here you are. I found this picture of you in a New York Yacht Club bathrobe.
Ah, I must have swiped it for somebody. Oh, or worn it.
That's here in the grill room at the Beach Street Yacht Club when it was cold. You're sitting there at the end of the grill room where you like to sit, at the windows, and I had to grab my New York Yacht Club bathrobe for you to keep you warm.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Now, you're also a philanthropist, a donor to any number of causes.
Yeah.
And what a nice job you've done in particular with this school.
Yeah, it's a great school. And
what's the name of it?
It's the York School, and it's in Monterey, California. And I had a couple dear friends who helped start that. And
but you didn't go to school there, right?
No, and I don't have any kids there. And
were you on the board, or were you on the?
I was on the board for 25 years. Oh. Which is too long to be on anybody's board, except I was the only out-of-town person on that board. And I was doing searches at the time, a lot of searches in education, higher education.
Because you were a professional headhunter.
For 30 years.
The Boyden firm, the first female partner of the Boyden firm.
I was,
right? Yeah. Well, so you are a philanthropist. You not only donate a little bit to, in fact, nicely to Sailing Illustrated and to our show, but to quite a bit bigger sums to any number of other places, including St. Francis, including the York School, and where else? Stanford University?
Stanford, yeah.
Okay, well, Anything else you want to say before we move to the final photo about your life and times as a yachty?
I do. I have one thing to say, because I just want to say that there's no standard. I didn't go the standard way to become a sailor. I hadn't stepped foot on a sailboat before I was 26. I grew up by the ocean. I love the ocean.
Carpinteria down
in Carpinteria, yeah,
down by where that fake princess lives now, Harry's wife.
We're halfway between Santa Barbara and Ventura, and there are lots of ways to do that. And once you get involved, there are lots of ways to stay involved
in sailing and yacht racing,
and you can do that for the rest of your life.
Exactly,
which is terribly interesting.
And you haven't disclosed how old you are, even though I talk about it all the time on this show.
Well, let me just tell you that I first time I went to any yacht club, I went to the St. Francis Yacht Club in 1964 to watch the first big boat race.
Big boat series here.
Big boat series. And that was 58 years ago.
Hard to believe, 60 years ago. And you've supported St. Francis Yacht Club campaigns, you and your late husband.
Yeah.
6 meters, you went to Australia, what, 20 times or something?
Yeah, that was a great thing. The Royal Prince Alfred and the St. Francis Yacht Club put together, with lots of help, the Amos Trophy in 6 meters. Mm-hmm. And it was done because by the St. Francis people, because they had developed some pretty good sailors, and they thought they ought to have a chance at international competition.
And before they got involved in the 12 circuit,
yes.
Really.
And there was some feeling at the time that why get involved with the 12s? It's so expensive, and all the same rules would hold with the 6 meter. Mm-hmm. And why not just do it that way?
Then you went to Europe following the 6 meter project of St. Francis, and you got to know a lot of sailors both in Europe and in Australia. And you also followed one of the round the world races that John Kostecki, St. Francis member.
We met him.
And that was the German team headed by
Ilbruck.
And
Michael
Ilbruck, and they won.
They won, yes.
So you went to several of the stops and then the final prize giving?
Yeah, I followed that very closely, but I just went to
and gave them some bucks.
Yeah.
And I think I originally met you. I don't really remember because there were so many St. Francis members, but it was in Auckland. Weren't you in Auckland in 2003?
You met me first in St. Francis Yacht Club.
At the end of the bar.
Yeah, I gave you a ride.
Oh, you did, back here, because I lived across the street. So seriously, can I tell a story about Conrad?
Sure.
So long story short, as Conrad was failing, he was getting old and he had some pulmonary issues, and we knew he was probably not long for the world. And a dear guy, great guy, and I lived across the street, and I'd come over and have a cleansing cocktail. I'd fly back into town, and I'd call up at 11:30, 12, and Julia's famous late night owl as was Conrad, and they'd say, "Oh yeah, come on over." I'd say, "Where's the party?" And they'd say, "Right here, come on over." And I'd come over and have a cleansing vodka cranberry with you, and find out what was going on before I kind of re-entered what was going on here with a cup. This is in 2011, 10, 11, and 12, I guess. And I had an apartment across the street, and as Conrad was on his way out, was going to pass eventually, he said, we've got this nice, and I'd never been in this level. I'd been in your apartment upstairs with you and Conrad. And he said, we've got this apartment. You ought to, we've rented it to the same people for what, 30 years?
32 years.
32 years. They're retiring, and they're moving down to Palm Springs. You ought to come over here. Meg was living with me part-time over across the street. You ought to come over here and live here, and then Julia will give you a good deal, which indeed you have. And take care of Julia, look after Julia. Mm-hmm. Little did I know. And here we are.
Poor thing.
No, I'm not. And it's been a wonderful relationship. And now you're the co-host on our show for after, 5 years and 540 shows? And maybe we should quit at 550 and then 9 more shows and be done with this.
We never know. Yeah.
But it's been a wonderful experience. And Stu Valentine of the Ilbruck team was just at St. Francis last month. Wonderful person and sailor. Yeah, that was a great campaign. Stingray, well said, Julia, about different ways people can get into yachting. Always appreciate and admire your wisdom. Susan Kenny saying that her daughter lives in Carpinteria.
Oh, really? How
Beautiful
nice.
place. That is a great spot down.
It is.
And the good thing is you're close to Lucky's restaurant in Montecito, where Harry and
I've never eaten there, so I don't know.
Harry and the princess,
Yeah.
former princess who shall not be named.
Yes.
Now, Julia, I've got this photo of you. Do you want to tell us? And you can shake a finger at yourself. We were having dinner someplace. Is that in Calistoga? I don't know.
No, that's at the Good Steakhouse in San Francisco.
Harris's?
Harris's.
And who is it? You and I and some others?
I think it may have just been the two of us.
And you picked that up and you said, "Look at this, Tom.
It looks like
the
map of Michigan."
That's not what you said. That's what I said. That's what I said. Yeah.
No, Michiganders always do that, though.
Michiganders do always do that. We put you can tell somebody from Michigan because they put their hand up and say, "Well, this is where I'm from in Michigan, in Ann Arbor. I'm up here in Traverse City," or down, And that's not you said. Somebody else said. Maybe it was I said, "Well, turn it sideways, Julia." Turn it sideways, and you can shake a finger at yourself now.
No.
And at me.
No.
Okay, that's right. Okay, I remember Stingray talking Julia into being on the show instead of being on the. You're right, Stingray. You were one of the people who said, "Yeah, Julia, come on," because she used to sit when we were doing it out in Studio A, and I was in front of the TV set because you couldn't broadcast on computers in those days. It sounds like 100 years ago. It was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And the only way you could do it again was to have an iPhone on a tripod, and we'd set the tripod up. I'd sit in front of the TV, run slides on the TV so that we could have, graphics, and you couldn't go close up. We figured that out when we moved in here to Studio B. But long story short, Julia's been a key part of this all along, for which we are all entirely grateful.
And it's been fun. I learned a lot from you all.
Well, exactly. Anything else on your life and times as our special guest today?
Oh, well, there's one of the things that I think about it, because when I learned to sail, there was no GPS, and if there ever anything electronic on the boat, it never worked when you needed it, and I'm not a racer. Although
when you learned to sail, they didn't even have Celestial. They didn't even,
No, they did. I even
kidding.
studied Celestial with Mr. Firemouth, but I was never very good at it.
Mr. who?
George Firemouth.
Oh, that Firemouth. That's a good German name.
Yes.
So what else? Final wrap up here. Julia has a sextant, I'm sure. I actually have a sextant here that was given to me by one of our Fozy.
I have a beautiful Plath sextant in a handcrafted wooden box.
Could you use it today if you had to?
Probably not.
I got to tell them one more story. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No.
I got to tell them one more story. May I?
Oh, I guess so.
So here at the Beach Street Yacht Club, down Julia's apartment, the Commodore's, we call it the Commodore Suite upstairs, and we have an elevator. You and your late husband wisely put an elevator in here so that you didn't have to move out if and when you couldn't walk very well.
That's correct.
So that gets you up and down to my car, and I can drive you to your doctor's appointments, or you can pick up the Uber and go.
Yep.
But the point is that in the garage, so there's her apartment and what we call the Beach Street Yacht Club here at this level, which many of you have been to, or a number of you have been to. And then down in the garage is a garage, like most of these townhouses in the marina, townhouses in New York and elsewhere. So the garages when I got here, up in the rafters of the garage, hoisted up on pulleys and lines, ropes.
Yes.
Is a little Boston whaler, a little skiff, some kind of a boat, in case
we get flooded or the tides rise or something.
In case we have a tsunami after an earthquake.
Right.
And the idea and I keep saying to Julia, we got to have the 1-800-GOT-JUNK guys come over here, take that boat. We got rid of the fuel you had fuel down there and an engine. That's, I think Mario Schumann got rid of that.
No, that's not.
Long story short, I said, Julia, neither you nor I are going to ever get that that boat out out of the
It's
rafters.
on a pulley.
Yeah, excuse me. And we're not going to get into it. And if we get into it, we're not going to go anywhere. So forget about that. Let me get rid of the boat, get rid of that other stuff. If we have a problem, if we have an earthquake or a tsunami, we're going to go up to your roof and I'm going to wave the white flag until they send the rescue helicopter or the rescue boat.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And I said, how can you belong to a yacht club and not have a boat? So when somebody says, do you have a boat? I say, oh, yes.
Yeah. It's in the rafters of the garage at the Beach Street Yacht Club. I vote for a Congressional Bravo Zulu for Julia. Yes. Who's with me? Thank you, Clark Chapin. Who else has a sextant? Keeps you both out of the bars. Yeah. And this was all of you requested this segment. You asked for a Life and Times of Julia. You get a better idea of who and what she is. And by the way, she's not only the Commodore here, she also ran for Commodore over at St. Francis. She was recruited to be Commodore when there was a problem. I won't go into all that, but there was a problem over there in the hierarchy. And some of the members came to her and said, Julia, would you run for Commodore?
Yeah.
And you did.
I did.
And then they found another candidate who was younger and probably
and much better suited.
And she'd been on the board and finance.
But everybody was afraid to do it. It was a situation in which the person had to be replaced. And
well, it was the person had been nominated by the nominating committee, and you were running as a petition candidate against this guy.
Yes.
So it was a highly contentious situation.
Yes. And the petition candidate did win.
The gal who then replaced another female. So you in some ways you broke the ice, the ceiling here for women, because once you said, yeah, I'll run.
Yeah.
And then when this other gal came along, and everybody said, well, Julia, are you sure you want to do this? And I was trying to talk you out of it too.
Forever. Frankly. But she was a better candidate because she was sailing her own boat and
J105 sailor.
Yeah.
This is Teresa Brander.
Yeah.
Who ended up being the first female Commodore at St. Francis.
Right.
About to get a female Commodore at New York. We've had, as some of you said, female Commodores in a number of other clubs, including across the way at San Francisco Yacht Club. Bravo Zulu, Julia Wedekind. Gareth Evans is saying, Julia is a wonderful person. Thierry de Jong is saying, she is all of that. And Alex Kent is saying, if we have high water, if we have flood, just drive up the hill to the top of Pacific Heights. Well, if we do, as I said, we'll go up and wave the white flag up on top of the Commodore's quarter. Julia, final word.
I just have to thank the Fosies for being Fosies. They're so wonderful and they mean so much. And I think we help each other all the time, so that's nice.
Well, and it's become, in many ways, your family. You don't have any kids, and your late husband is gone, and you've got me and a few other croutons that are close in here at St. Francis. And the bartender here at the Beach Street Yacht Club is a good friend of yours as well, and mine. And the Fosie are fabulous.
Yes,
are fabulous.
They are.
Fosie, top to bottom.
Yeah.
So thank you all for being such good friends to both of us, including and especially my co-host and the Commodore here at the Beach Street Yacht Club, Julia Hirsch Wedekind, our guest. If the water gets too high, just call the Uber ferry service.
I will.
Kimball Livingston, who's an esteemed past Commodore here at St. Francis, Julia.
Yes. Kimball's a great guy.
And good show. Okay, that's a little about the life and times. And by the way, we're going to do this with some other people we keep talking about, and what a good way to start out with Julia. And we appreciate all she does. I have a quick video, and then we'll wrap this up. Here, have a look at this video from the Copa del Rey in Palma, which is also going on this week. Have a look. Beautiful video. Okay, did you like that?
Yes, I love the music.
So great. Yeah. I mean, this is August and summer here, and sailing going on all over the place. Cows Week, and also at the Copa del Rey in Palma. and just nice videos. Okay, we're not yet ready to do, I'm sad to say, the A4, Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote. I'm trying to edit a video with his. He sent pictures. He sent a talking head thing and then pictures. And I've struggled to get that all done together. And maybe the thing I'm going to maybe do is just have Alistair come on live if he's willing to get up at dark. You know, it's 6 o'clock down there, I think, right this time of year, right? When we go live, it's 5 and 2 more is 7. So at 13, yeah, it's 0600 in Sydney when we go live. But Alistair has prepared a nice segment about boat names. It's funny as hell. And we'll get him on. I keep promising you that I'll get the video of Alistair and the photos which he sent, but maybe we'll just get him on live and he can narrate, say the same thing live what he's put on the talking head video. And then we can ask him some things too about maybe we do his life and times in yacht racing. What do you think of that, Julia? Mm-hmm. So again, clairvoyant, Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote postponed. I hope we can get him on this Friday or I can get a video edited. Alistair, thank you very much for your patience. Daniel Young, but boats no way could easily have a cell to put in an app for position. I don't know what that's all about. Make sure it's in a waterproof bag. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's don't talk about electronics now. That gets us to the D block.
It's my friend.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Just a couple, and they're both courtesy of our good friend Ted Ryman. And Ted, I wish you were here live. You could explain this. It looks to me, and it's in Spanish, obviously. Prohibí, though. I guess that's Spanish.
Prohibited. Yeah.
Prohibited. That is peeing on the whatever that is. And Daniel sent this to me on the grounds. And it looks like the penalty is to have your cojones chopped off.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. That what that means at the bottom?
Looks like that to me.
So Daniel sent that. It looks painful, whatever it is.
Huevos.
And then, yeah, huevos. The cojones. Huevos. Yeah. And then there's this one, Julia, which is, this is what's going on with the gas crisis. I guess people are going kiting in their power boats. That also sent in by Ted Ryman. And that's, I don't know how this gas crisis all going to go, but that's where we are. And we're in under 2 hours. That brings us to the finish line. And again, we thank you, Julia, for being our guest star today, the focus of our show. And you like to say,
please like, follow, and share. Easy to do. Punch the button, and it means a lot. And besides, other people are going to miss all the good stuff.
You're doing so well. Carry on with the next one. About comments.
Welcome to Even in Replay. And I've even been watching in replay to catch up and make sure I have all the comments.
Thank you, Fritz Muller. Thank you to you both. I guess no cutting the cheese. I don't think that was cheese. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was. Yeah, comments, of course, and support us on Patreon, please. Any number of you do. We appreciate a few bucks a month. Helps keep us in on the air. But because we have bills to pay. We have internet bills. We have the rent to pay, Julia.
Yes.
And we've got lights and gear. And we are now, I'll tell you what, this new computer we have over here, which I use down at GovCup, we were 1080p. And I don't know what the problem was today. Technically, it must be in a server someplace because we didn't see any problems whatsoever here. We have dropped, I'll tell you what, I'm a nerd, I'm sorry, but I'm looking here at the stats on, I have stats continuing of the stream. We have streamed over 256,000 frames because we're 30 frames a second. We've dropped 3 frames due to rendering lag, 0 frames due to encoding lag, and the network dropped frames are 236. So maybe that was something the network did, but 0.1%, 0.1%. So that's it. We've got some thanks, but we also want to thank all of you, T.R. DeYoung, Gordon Smith, and Fritz, and everybody else. Ted Ryman, amazing show with This Is Your Life. Julia loved it. Thank you, Ted Ryman. Julia, a final word?
I wish that were all my life, but that is just the tip of it.
It's your 3rd career. Really,
well, it's
right?
My 8th career.
Your 8th career. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate very much the support of those who let us use videos and audio on this show. And as you probably noticed, we had some new music at the top. for the count in, the 90-second count in. I have some new music going out on the outro today.
Oh, good.
As you will soon hear. Thank you very much. We hope you have a great rest of your week. We'll see you on Friday. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.
Bye.
A little beach. You know, this is the Beach Street Yacht
It is
Club.
the Beach
This is
Street.
water.
Yep.
I put credit for Emmett and Murray in, Alistair and John. Thanks, everybody.